So today's was Sony's big state of play. Well, not really big. It just was Sony's state of play, and I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty mid. Like all of these state of plays, they're mostly mid. Sometimes we'll get a really good one here and there, but they're pretty mid. So let's start off with probably the biggest game to Sony of the show. But I'm gonna be honest, the game doesn't look good, and that is Concord. Concord doesn't look too good. Honestly, it looks pretty bad in my opinion. Like, let's start off with first thing they do is show us another cinematic trailer. By the way, the first time we saw this game last year, they used a cinematic trailer. And then once they showed us again, they showed another cinematic trailer. And I'm just like, why are you giving us these cinematic trailers when we don't really know what this game is like? Like, we want to see gameplay first, you know? Especially when this is one of your big games as a service online multiplayer game, we would want to see the gameplay first. And it turned out that it's a hero shooter, you know, like your Overwatch. And yeah, like pretty much like Overwatch, I believe kind of like TF2, Team Fortress 2, but I don't know. Um and I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a big hero shooter fan, but even then this game looks bad. Like honestly, this game does not look good at all. I feel like this game's going to come out just not great, especially if they're charging us money for this. Like if it's not a free to play game, and let's say it's like $50, this game's not going to do well. Like honestly, it's not like the gameplay doesn't look great. It looks like meh at best. Like honestly, I doubt it's going to be like anything special. I doubt it's going to be anything noteworthy. And it's like this is what you're going to dedicate most of the time for is this game that doesn't look good. And I'm just like, man, especially when there's like Overwatch, which I know a lot of people have problems with Overwatch now, but like at least that's free to play. At least you can go on your PlayStation and download that free to play. And also, mind you, this game's a games as a service, so they're going to constantly try to sell you stuff on top of that $50. At least with some of these other games as a service, like your Fortnite or your Overwatch 2, they're free to play. You know, yes, they have microtransaction, but the entry cost is free. And especially for a game like Conquer that doesn't look the greatest, I'm gonna be honest. This game should have been free to play in order to gain some attraction, in order to gain some people to play this game. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not spending $50 on this game. I'm not getting this game at all. Like unless maybe if it's like free to play, I might give it a shot, but I doubt it. This game just does not look good. And I'm gonna be honest, the rest of the showcase itself, well, not even showcase, the state of play was pretty mid. Sure, we had some cool announcements like God of War coming to PC. Well, God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. But I'm gonna be honest, I already played God of War Ragnarok. I like the game, but I don't think I would want to pay full price for the game. And like, I don't know, maybe down the line when it's like 20 to 30, I'll pick it up on PC. But I'm all right. And then they showed off some other games like Dynasty Warriors. If you like Dynasty Warriors, you're probably going to like this. And, you know, they showed off some VR titles. I'm not really big into VR, so personally, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to be honest. You guys are struggling for putting games on the PS5 itself. You're not giving us a lot of PS5 games, PS5 exclusive. But you wanted to spend another $500 on a peripheral, you're not even putting that many games on. That's I'm like I'm all right. I don't really want to get this VR headset unless that PC update comes out soon. Then maybe I'll consider it because if I can use it on PC, then I'll have the whole library of PC games to play, VR PC games to play, and you know maybe it'll be worth it then. Then they showed off. They also showed off Silent Hill 2, the remake to that, and I'm gonna be honest, it looks pretty rough. Like I don't think the game looks I mean, I don't know if I will say it doesn't look all that great. I mean, it looks all right, but I don't know. It feels like, especially when you compare it to Resident Evil remake, which I know the Resident Evil remake are on like a different like level when it comes to remakes. Like they are probably where the bar is set. Like that's how good they are. They are probably one of the best cases of remakes you can do for games. And maybe it's a bit unfair to compare Silent Hill 2 remake to a Resident Evil remake, but I'm gonna be honest, they're both in the same kind of horror genre. They both came out during the original PlayStation era. I feel like, of course, everyone's gonna be making the comparison. These were kind of like the two big horror games, the big two horror genres. I mean, horror franchise, and I believe it's like people are going to compare. And this comparing to like the Resident Evil 4, 2, or even 3 remake, I don't know. I feel like I'm hoping when it comes near launch on October 8th, we'll see more and it will look better. But as of right now, I'm all right. Maybe it'll be good. I'm hoping it will be good. But I'm not too sure. Then we got Monster Hunter Wilds. Personally, I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan. I think the games are all right, but they're not really my thing. But if you like them, then you're probably excited for this. Personally, I'm all right. You know, Here comes the game that saved the show for me, the biggest game of the show. Well, maybe the best game of the show, actually, I'm going to say. Well, yes, I'm going to say it's the best game of the show, is Astrobot. I love, and I believe everyone, like almost everyone else, loved the Astrobot playing game that came with the PS5. And honestly, I can't wait to play this, especially if it's just more of the same as Astrobot Playroom. This is going to be a definite like day one. And I'm just glad that one thing they did with this game is that they announced it and that the game is coming out soon after they announced it. Because it's been so common nowadays to have these games announced years in advance, and we haven't even heard what's going on with them now. Like, for example, Perfect Dark. We heard about this game back, I want to say 2020, 21, and that's it. We've only seen that one teaser trailer, and that's it. We haven't seen anything else about the game. Another game we haven't seen anything else from is Marvel's Wolverine, the Insomniac game. We've only seen the initial teaser trailer, and that's it. Haven't heard anything else from them yet. It's like, I'm getting tired of like getting these games announced and waiting years and years for them to come out. I prefer this strategy of announcing the game, right? But then to find out the game is coming soon after than the trailer. You know, I believe that's fantastic. I would rather have that than the whole wait 5 years to for the game to come out or wait like 10 years for the game to come out. I think this is the best way to handle it. Have the game come out soon after you showed up the trailer. And also, love these kind of titles from PlayStation. Like my big issue with PlayStation right now is the lack of exclusives, and I would love to have more of these Astrobot like games, like probably the smaller budget titles, games like these to carry us from to like give our PlayStation 5 like a reason to play on them. Like I'm gonna be honest, my PlayStation 5 haven't seen as much use as like when I had the PS4, is because I feel like the game output on the PS5 has been so slow that it's like there's nothing really for me to play. And I hope this game does well. Like it's a day one for me. I'm definitely buying this game day one. And I hope it does well where Sony's like, okay, let's A-OK all more of these like smaller budget games. Let's A-OK these other games that aren't gonna take 80 years to make, and have them come out in like a decent pace where I can just use my PS5 more often because I want to use it, but I don't really have any games to play on it. I play mostly on PC, and the PS5 is just for exclusives, and I feel like there's not that many exclusives for me to play. I will say this year was a bit better, but I hope that they keep up the pace or they increase the pace of games coming to the PS5. Just give us these good, smaller budget games. Have of course have your big AAA games, but I feel like just put out more of these smaller budget games. We don't need a game that's super high budget with like an insane budget. Just put out good games, like good games like Astrobot Playroom. And I'm hoping that this game is going to be as good as that or even better. But overall, pretty mid state of play. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.